Southern New Hampshire University might have just ended the golden age of college hacking, and we're going to talk about what happened and what it might mean for you, even if you don't go to SNHU. We're going to start off with a quick explanation of exactly what the event was, and then we're going to open it up to more informal discussion of the ramifications of this and why this could change how you hack college. To basically lead this conversation, the person who discovered what was going on is my esteemed colleague and college hacked coach, Dr. Lauren Daly.
Thanks, Cliff. It's great to be here as always.
So, Lauren, you basically discovered something big. What is that thing?
Yeah, so I say it's great to be here, but I would rather be here under better circumstances. So the context for this is every year from about June to August, schools are making their curricular changes for the coming school year. So each school year, there are different degree maps for that year. And so they've been very similar at SNHU in the previous 5 or so years, at least. Right now, maybe about a month ago, we started hearing from some of our clients that maybe SNHU was changing their policy around Sophia credits that they accept. And so we heard it from one person, we weren't too nervous, and then we started hearing it from several people. So ultimately, I had a client who contacted the school and asked about the Sophia transfer credit policy and got told that in the near future, meaning from now until further notice, they are only accepting Sophia courses for free elective credit and for some of the credits that may overlap in a major section, but not for any general education anymore. And for those of you who are familiar at all with Southern New Hampshire, that's a huge shift because they used to allow a ton of Sophia classes, and now it sounds like they don't. But we're also not totally sure that they don't because they haven't actually posted their new policy to their website anywhere. And when you ask the advisors, you get a lot of different accounts of what they think the new policy is. So it's a kind of a confusing time.
Yeah, and that is kind of mind-blowing to me. Like, we'll get into the specifics of this and kind of some conjecture, but like even further, like more context, schools often do change their academic policies. Like you mentioned, Lauren, a lot of those things happen every year, but more specifically, college hacking policies, things about transfer credits, things about whether they accept Sophia CLEP, what courses those come in as, will often change. For example, Thomas Edison used to be even more hacking friendly, where they would let you transfer in almost all of your credits. But these days, if you want to transfer in almost all of your credits, you've got to pay like a $3,000 residency waiver fee. Or they used to be really Sophia friendly and they would accept a lot of Sophia, but now they make you guess what Sophia courses fit where and don't publicly acknowledge Sophia's existence really, except for in like a couple of weird places. What is different about SNHU and why this matters even more is that SNHU is huge. Like, they are one of the biggest online colleges out there. And so the fact that they would change this policy could mean that this leads to rippling effects across the college hacking or online college community that affects transfer credits and maybe affects how other schools view Sophia. I don't know about you, Lauren, but why do you think SNHU would make a change like this?
Yeah, it's hard to say because of the lack of messaging, we're sort of left to connect the dots on our own. And in my mind, I'm thinking either one of two things. It's either an academic reason. So maybe the students that were coming through from Sophia prerequisites weren't prepared enough for the classes they were then taking at SNHU. So maybe faculty were going to the school and saying, it seems like to me, all the students who take Sophia statistics come in and take my advanced statistics class and don't do very well. So maybe we should limit the ability to take these classes. Or maybe it's a financial reason. I kind of can't imagine a school as big as SNHU saying we're not getting enough tuition money. We need to restrict how many Sophia credits we allow people to take. But maybe it is financially based. Not sure.
Yeah, something that you mentioned before to me before we got on this was that the messaging around this has been really poor. Like, this just kind of came as a surprise. There was no announcements. And, we've done some due diligence. We've done some research. We've been looking to try to find if like SNHU mentioned this anywhere. And, it might be buried in a tweet from a long time ago, but we haven't been able to find anything. And obviously, like, this can be really problematic for a college hacker because let's say you said, hey, it's June 2023. I want to go to SNHU. I'm going to take these 10 Sophia classes that will transfer in for these requirements. And then you go to apply in October of 2023, and the admissions counselor says, oh, I'm so sorry. We don't accept those Sophias as general education anymore. Now, on one hand, it is the college hacker's responsibility to continue to like see if policies change because we know that's something that can happen. But the fact that SNHU would do that without any kind of announcement, other schools in the past have announced stuff like this. Excelsior, when they got rid of the UXL exams, like they had a notice on their website for, I think, at least 3 months saying that those exams were going to go away. And SNHU, we have heard nothing, which seems like a little bit of a slap in the face to students who have been using this method to earn credits and to go to SNHU.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that.
You have talked to a couple of advisors, and from what you told me, the messaging was really confusing. So first you had that client who said that an advisor told them that only 2 Sophia courses would be accepted, which seemed so weird. We were both like, well, we got to investigate this further. But then you heard, some more stuff from them. What did they tell you?
Yeah, so in trying to clarify the policy around Sophia transfer credits, I got some, I would say, kind of concerning emails, or maybe concerning verbiage in the emails back from the advisors and ultimately the registrar. I think the most concerning one was probably the email that said, academic advising will be your best resource to coordinate your student career with us and should be able to help you adjust your courses if needed. To partner with an advisor, you would need to be officially enrolled for the upcoming term and finalize your funding plan.
Finalize your funding plan, the money. Give us some money and then we'll help you.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a business, but they are a nonprofit business. And so you would think that they'd be a little bit cooler about telling you how your credits will transfer in. And I mean, if you're trying to put Sophia credits into a degree, it's not like I'm going to go enroll at SNHU and take a bunch of Sophia credits while I'm enrolled in SNHU. Like, I want to be able to plan that in advance. And I think most students do. And so the fact that they would say, well, hey, you've got to submit this funding, you got to pay for classes. That just seems really, really odd to me that they couldn't answer a simple question, right?
Yeah, when I saw that, I was in disbelief. And so I actually pushed back and I emailed them back again and said, just to clarify, I'm a prospective student. So this is information that I would need to make this plan before I were to enroll with you. And the response I got back was the same thing, really. And to add to the same message, they then said, you can always withdraw from your classes during week 1 and you'd receive a full tuition refund. To which I was just like, no, that's not the solution. I do feel pretty strongly that it's the school's moral obligation, I guess it's a strong way of putting it, but to give a prospective student the information they need to make the right decision about whether to attend that school. To me, those things include transfer credit evaluations for free. They include answering basic questions about your student experience and the academics required to go to the school. So for me, this was just kind of a big no-no.
Right. And a lot of times, like, if you apply and you get accepted, schools will do an academic evaluation. They'll look at your transcripts and they'll tell you how it goes before you pay money. But for them to say, and to be fair, maybe this is one admissions counselor, because admissions counselors are notably unreliable and notably interested in trying to get you to sign up at all costs, right? Like, that's their job. But this is a little bit crazy to me if this is their policy, because to get the actual advice that I need, I have to be paying money. I have to sign up for classes. Something about that just sounds really weird. And maybe it's that their policy is actually something different and this admissions counselor doesn't know what they're talking about. Or if that is their policy, that's like really bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good market leading example. But hey, I mean, if there's an SNHU professional out there that has the authority to weigh in on this topic and would like to come on the channel, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely would. We would love to get to interview and have a conversation about why SNHU made this change. So the broader implications of this for college hackers everywhere, no matter what school you're going to, is that maybe there's a little bit of a house of cards that Sophia has built, where you pay $100 a month and then you get to go take unlimited courses. There's no proctoring, and people are knocking out like 60, 80 credits in a month with Sophia, transferring them to the school. Schools were bound to at some point say, hey, hold on a second, that's a little bit weird. But I think Sophia has been working to improve their product from a school's perspective, not from a student's perspective, by requiring more essays and more written projects and video recorded projects that are graded by a real human, rather than just essentially open book tests, right? And we love the open book test. We love how Sophia has been, but something that I would encourage folks to think about, if you're kind of thinking like, oh man, I hate how Sophia is increasing some of these standards, if they continue to do that, it might mean that they get back in SNHU's good graces. If they make it a little bit harder to pass their classes, or if it takes a little bit longer than 4 to 10 hours to pass a Sophia course. I'm a little bit split on this issue. I really like being able to send people to Sophia, getting them through those courses really, really quickly. But Lauren made a good point earlier. If people pass, like, let's say pre-calculus in Sophia, and then they go to take a calculus class at their school, but they didn't actually learn a ton, or they were just doing a bunch of open book stuff in the Sophia course, and they didn't really hit the books, that can actually come back to bite them later, because then they get an F in the SNHU course, and then now they're like out $1,000 because they have to take that course again. So there is some practical reasoning that could be behind this, and the implication in general might be that other schools start to take a similar perspective to Sophia. Now, CLEP is still good to go. It's a proctored test. It's been around for like 50 years. Study.com has been around for over 2 decades. They've got proctored exams and graded essays. I guess what this comes down to is, if you're thinking of going to SNHU in particular, you might want to build your plan more based on CLEPs and Study.coms, because first of all, they don't accept those Sophias, and they might continue to get rid of some of those Sophias. And if you're going to another college out there, CLEPs and Study.coms are going to continue to be like a better bedrock for your degree. Now, you might be able to go through those Sophias really, really quickly, and you might be able to graduate before more policies change, before other schools do this kind of stuff. But you have to weigh those options, and we want you guys to know the risks. The golden age of college hacking that Sophia kind of ushered in for a few years there might be coming to an end, but we're college hackers. We're adaptable. When the policies change, we change. And in some ways, a move away from Sophia could be a good thing. It might mean that more schools are likely to look at the credits that you've hacked and be able to apply them to their degrees. That's what I've got. Lauren, do you have any further thoughts on this?
I think just some notes of encouragement for people who might be discouraged, especially about SNHU. If you had your heart set on that school and they make a change like this, it can feel like, oh, well, now I have nowhere to go, or now there's nothing worth hacking because I was so married to that idea of that degree. But there's lots of other fish in the sea, as Cliff would say often. So, if you need to chat with us and have a consultation to talk about what school you could go to instead of SNHU, we're happy to do that. Also, comment below with your questions. We'll answer them as best we can. But for now, there seems to be no written word from SNHU on the Sophia policy on the website just yet.
Yep. Thanks for coming on, Lauren. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Happy hacking.